Hello. Hello my lovely ladies all around the world. I hope you're having an amazing day or night wherever you are. I for one am feeling great. I had an amazing weekend. Check out the nails, girls. Check it out. My girl Romina, she pulled through as she always does. I had a festival this weekend or last weekend I should say. It was so good. It was amazing. It's called Listen Out for my Aussie girls in the chat who are watching. It was a great time. I'm not really a party girl anymore. I don't tend to go out that much anymore, but when it comes to a festival, you best believe I'm gonna be there. You best believe I'm gonna go all out. That's right. I have to be the best dressed person there. It's a crime if I'm not. Let's get into today's video. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the present moment, living through the present moment and honoring each moment that we experience in front of us and living through that more rather than just living inside our heads all the time. Why have I decided to talk about this today? Well, I guess you could say living through the present moment is a kind of lifestyle approach, a softer lifestyle approach that I try to use, emphasis on the try, every day, because I'm just a massive overthinker. I'm a massive overthinker. I spend too much time in my head, and in order to maintain my peace, my mental health, my nervous system, my overall quality of life, I like to stay as present as I can just to get peace from my mind. And I want to just talk to you guys about, I guess, the different things that I've learned and my experiences of living through the present moment more and what it's taught me, how it's enhanced my quality of life, how it's improved my mental health, how it's brought me peace. We spend too much time in our heads. We spend too much time living in the past and the future. We spend too much time not being grateful for what we do have. So I want to talk about being grateful for what we do have so that we can just enjoy the process of things more. When we show gratitude towards ourselves and towards what we do have in our life right now, it helps us be more grounded in the now, you know, rather than just needing to be in the future, needing to get to a certain point, and just accepting that where we are right now is exactly where we're meant to be, you know, getting into this place of alignment. I just think it's really important to talk about this in this day and age because as a society, you know, it's grounded into us that we should be go, go, go all the time, constantly moving, constantly doing things, constantly achieving. You know, the more we do, the more we have, the better, right? There's so many electronic devices, social media, phones, computers, TVs that are distractions. You know, we're just glued to our phones all the time, not actually acknowledging all the other beautiful things that are around us. We just live glued to a screen a lot of the time. Social media, phones, TVs, whatever, they're really useful mentions, they're amazing, but what I'm trying to say is we just get so caught up in this. You know, sometimes I'll go out for a dinner, I'll go out for a meal or whatever, I'm at a restaurant or something like that, and I see a couple sitting together and they're both just on their phones. Like, no hate to anyone, but I'm just using this as an example. You know, they're both just on their phones, not even talking to each other. And I'm just like, what is the point? Like, I just think it's sad. You know, whenever I'm out with my friends, I'm there, I'm present in the moment. If I need to check something, I'll check it. But other than that, I want to enjoy this moment with people. And we're just so stuck in autopilot. We're so stuck in autopilot. We're so stuck in our heads all the time. And this just really gets in the way of us experiencing life. Like, obviously we're still living or experiencing life, right? But when we're so stuck in our heads all the time, your thoughts are clouding your perception of what's in front of you. Your thoughts don't allow you to actually take the time to enjoy what's in front of you because you're stuck up here thinking about what happened, thinking about what's next. Now, today's video is inspired by the one and only Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now. Okay, this book, let me tell you something. Okay, this book changed my entire life. I cannot begin to describe the impact this book has had on me, okay? If you're a spiritual wellness girly, then chances are that you've read this book, okay? It's like the version of the Bible in the spiritual community. Eckhart Tolle is literally my version of Jesus, okay? First time I read this book, I was 21 years old, and it completely, this will be a core memory of mine till the day I die, okay? Till the day I die. I remember reading this book in bed every night and it would just blow my mind. The words that he was speaking just echoed so much fucking truth, and I was like, god damn, this man is speaking absolute facts to me right now. And it just changed my life. It changed my perception of my life, on myself. I was truly never the same again. I just think it's an amazing book. And basically what he talks about in this book is the fact that as human beings, we're so deeply rooted in our unconscious behavior, in our thinking. You know, we're so identified with the mind, meaning, you know, we're so attached to our mind, we're so attached to our thoughts that it's almost impossible for so many people to break away from those thoughts and to just find peace, you know, because really the whole reason that we suffer and that we're in pain, emotional pain, is because of our thoughts, because of the way that we think, you know? And so he talks about once we detach from the mind and are able to detach from our thoughts and we're able to find that still place within ourselves, you know, that place of presence, then that kind of opens the gate for us to walk into the present moment and experience that present moment. Everything kind of just comes into place once you start living through the present more. You know, you're more at peace, you're more happy, you're more joyful, you feel more fulfilled, you're more accepting of yourself. We have more control of our emotions, over our thoughts, our behaviors, our reactions. You know, we are able to make decisions that are more grounded in our approach. We're able to lead with our intuition a lot more because we're not being blocked, or I should say we're not being motivated by feelings of fear or lack or scarcity or anything like that. You know, we're just moving and making choices based off what actually feels right, you know, based off our feeling state, because those thoughts aren't getting in the way to cloud our judgment, I guess you could say. I can't begin to describe the depth of wisdom that he goes into in this book, but that's pretty much the simmer on top of the soup, you know what I mean? So please read this book, it's incredible, you will love it, you will thank me later. I've read this book about 4 times. Every time I dip, every time I get into a very depressive state, or I just feel like I've just lost detachment of my spiritual self, my spiritual practices, I turn to this book and it uplifts me every time. Because when you're a very enlightened spiritual person, I guess you're always going to have those dips. You know, you're going to be in this really, really enlightened state for a bit where you're just so at peace and you're just loving life and you're in that effortless flow. And then, you know, you dip again, you get caught up in the system, you get caught up in those thinking habits, you know, those patterns, and then you come back up again. And that's really just the whole human experience that we have to embrace. But every time I'm experiencing that dip, I read this book and it brings me back up again. So I just had to tell you guys about it. Please read it. He has some other books as well, but this is the first one that you should read. The most important thing, first of all, if we want to actually experience that present moment and find peace of mind, we have to be able to detach ourselves from our mind. It is so hard to just truly live in the present when we've got all these things going on in our heads all the time. You know, it's disturbing it. It's disturbing our perception, our experience of what's here now, because our mind is always trying to take us somewhere else, right? So we have to detach from the mind. We have to get into the understanding that we are not our thoughts, okay? We are really just the energetic presence behind our thoughts. You know, we are our soul consciousness. Before we came into this earth, we were just pure consciousness. Who knows where we were, but we were just chilling out there somewhere. I don't know. Then we came onto this earth, into this body. Here we are, we're a human being, have a human experience, you know? And then when we die, our body will die, our body will disappear, whatever, and then our soul will just live on. Our consciousness just continues, right? Think of an electric cord, and then you've got the electric current going through the cord and it's just going places. That's the best way that I can kind of explain it in a visual sense. That is who we are. Our true self is really our soul essence, our consciousness, right? Because that's eternal. You want to think of the mind as really just a companion to the soul in the human experience. The mind is the most incredible thing ever, right? It's created so many things. Everything that we see around us, the mind has created that from something, right? It's insane. That's the thing, the mind is an amazing tool, right? Once it becomes the master, then we're in trouble. Okay, once it has that control over us, once we get stuck up in there, it's pretty much game over. And majority of functioning humans on this planet don't even know that it's game over because they're just so identified with it. They don't realize that they're in their own prison. The reason why this is an issue when it comes to being in the present is because in the mind, the present moment doesn't really exist, right? Because the mind runs off psychological time. There's clock time that we use to function throughout our day-to-day life, which is great. But Our brain uses psychological time. Psychological time is based off the past and the future. The brain is only interested in these places is because this is where the brain remains in control by fueling your thoughts of these places, right? The brain loves the past because everything that has happened to us, all our experiences, you know, things that have shaped us, things that we've done, things that we've said, whatever, everything that's happened to us has happened in the past. We attach ourselves to certain experiences, certain things, we identify with certain things, we get stuck in a loop of thinking about, you know, things that we've said, things that we've done, bad things that have happened to us, good things that have happened to us. We get stuck, right? We get stuck in this place. And the same goes with the future, right? In our mind, we love the future because it's in the future that we believe a majority of all our happiness and fulfillment lies. You know, everything that we're striving for, whether it's the relationship we want, the success we want, the money we want, that is all going to be obtained within some point in the future, you know? So we fantasize about it, we dream about it, we, you know, obsess over the outcome of things. Is this thing going to happen? When is it going to happen? Right? We get stuck in these two places. But the thing is, these two places don't actually exist. The past and the future are really just a projection that your mind creates. Yes, the past has happened. Yes, the future is going to happen, but it's not happening right now, so it's not actually real. The only way that it can come to life really is when you activate it through your thoughts. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because let me ask you something. Have you ever experienced any other moment other than the present? Everything that's happened to you in the past, when it happened to you, you experienced it at a present point in time. All the things are going to happen to you is going to be the present when you experience those things. Everything else is just a painting in your head, really. All that is real and all that does exist is this present point in time, always. No matter what you're experiencing, no matter what you're doing, it's the present. That's something that I like to remind myself of all the time when I get stuck in my head and I start, you know, attaching myself to things that I've said or things that I've done that make me feel really shitty about myself or that make me feel insecure or that make me cringe or whatever. I remind myself, wait, I'm actually just being Delulu right now. I'm choosing this moment to exist right now by going there and creating it in my head. It doesn't have to exist if I don't want it to. You know, it's not happening right in front of me right now, so why should I care? We've been there, done that, sis, move along. Always moving forward, right? Same with the future. When I stress about the future, when I worry, when I think, is this thing gonna happen? When will it happen? You know, I just remind myself, one, it does not exist right now, you know, it's not happening right now. What is happening is what's in front of me right now, okay? And two, me stressing and worrying about something that doesn't even exist sounds pretty fucking crazy, right? When you think about it. So I might as well just drop it until the moment comes, then I'll concern myself about it, you know? And this was really hard for me to do at first, but what I would do is, say for example, maybe I had something to do at work the next day that I just really, really didn't want to do. And I would sit there and I would stress about it and I would think, oh, I don't want to do this thing, like it's so scary. Oh my God, I'm so anxious, you know. I'm choosing to resist the situation right now. I'm choosing to inflict pain on myself by stressing about it, by worrying about it. I actually have the freedom to drop this emotion of stress and worry. I can actually just drop it if I want to, you know, and I can, if I really, really need to, I can pick up that emotion closer to when it's actually going to happen, on the day perhaps, but I don't need to be worrying about it right now. It's just a waste of energy. It's not changing the situation whatsoever. All it's doing is hurting me. It's not happening right now. Let me just focus my energy on what it is happening right now. And in that way, that's taking my attention off this future situation. Once you become more present, once you start focusing on everything that's around you, the mind starts to lose its power over you, its control over you, because the mind requires thinking in order to stay in that position of control. It needs to take you somewhere. Where is the mind gonna go when it realizes that there is nowhere to go? That is something that I remind myself of all the time. Whenever I feel my mind wandering, I'm like, oh, that ain't real, sis. Let's come back to right here, right now, because this is real. And you'll notice as well, once you start to make this change from being so in your head to being more in your feeling state, you'll literally feel the energy switch. When we're in our heads all the time thinking, there's a lot of built up energy. And once you start to move that energy down to your center, where you're more balanced, where you're more grounded, that connects you to your heart space. You start to feel so much more joy. You start to kind of get into this feminine energy, right? It's very flowy, it's very effortless. Making decisions based off our intuition, we're leading with more light, more joy, more love, things like that. That is very feminine energy. And the other thing is, it increases your awareness massively. And not just your awareness of your thoughts, but your awareness of your emotions, of your behaviors, of your reactions towards certain things, of your triggers. Pretty much all the parts of yourself that you've been suppressing, when you become conscious, because that's what happens when you become present, you become conscious because you become the watcher of your thoughts, right? When that happens, it's like you're shining a light on all the parts of you that have been hiding. Because when we're so embedded in unconscious behavior and thinking, we don't notice these things. A lot of the time we're just in autopilot. You know, our emotions, our thoughts are just carrying the show, our limiting beliefs, you know, they're in the driver's seat. And so when you start practicing presence more, what's going to happen is you're going to start noticing the thoughts more, right? You're going to start noticing the thoughts pop up. And because you've got into that habit of noticing the thoughts, you're going to get yourself into the habit of noticing pretty much every single other thing. From there, you start separating yourself from your thoughts, from these emotions, from these behaviors. You're able to stand back. You're able to ask yourself, wow, like, I wonder what made me think that thing. You know, I wonder why that person triggered me so badly. Why was I so triggered by this situation? Why do I have this belief about myself, right? You start asking the questions, which is amazing because then you're back in the driver's seat. Things are still going to trigger you. You're still going to have certain thoughts. You're still going to feel certain ways about certain things, right? Completely normal. But the difference is now you have the awareness over those things. And when you have the awareness over those things, you have more freedom of choice to decide whether you want to react in a certain way. You get to choose more often whether these emotions, these thoughts get to be in the driver's seat or you yourself do. Now, living through the present moment is so much easier said than done. I totally get it. We have so many things going on as people. We live very busy lives, you know? We're trying to balance work, we're trying to balance school, we're trying to balance friends, family, we're trying to balance time for ourselves, doing things for ourselves, setting goals, hustling, going out to achieve them. You know, we're very go, go, go all the time, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having that very kind of fast-paced, busy lifestyle. You know, I think it's great. In the process of doing so much and being so much all the time, it's really easy to become stressed, to become overwhelmed. This creates a divide between ourselves and the present moment. We start to resist the present moment. We start to view the present moment as just a means to an end because we're just constantly trying to get to the next place and the next place and the next place. You know, we don't have time to even think about what the present moment is because we've got way too many things going on up in here. Why should I care about the present moment when there's just too many other things going on in my life that need my immediate attention? And life is always going to be like that. Life is always going to be so busy, you know, and so we can't help that. But it's when you can, you know, live through the present moment while still doing all those things, that's when you acquire the perfect balance. I have big goals for myself. I am always wanting to achieve. I'm always wanting to grow. You know, I'm always wanting to improve. I'm always wanting to climb that mountain. So I had to ask myself, you know, how do I do this? How can I acquire that perfect balance? How can I honor the present moment by still living through the present moment so that I can keep my peace and stay grounded and not have a meltdown, but at the same time smashing all my goals and kicking ass? How can I do that? I'm gonna tell you how. Effortless flow, path of least resistance. Think of your life as a river. Instead of trying to fight against the river, or you know, you're trying to swim in the opposite direction, or you're trying to control which way the river goes, you're just letting go and you're just allowing the river to take you wherever it needs to take you, and having faith in the fact that wherever it does take you is exactly where you're trying to go. We're just in this full state of acceptance. We're just chilling, right? We're not stressed, we're not worried. When things go unexpectedly, when things go wrong, when things happen that are out of our control or didn't go the way that we wanted, you know, we're not panicking, we're not stressing, we're not thinking that our life is over, we're not trying to control it or resist it or make it go the way that we want. No, we're literally just allowing it to happen. We're letting go, and we just tell ourselves, you know what, this didn't happen the way I wanted it to, but there's a reason that it happened. So I just have to trust the process. Doesn't mean that we allow bad things to happen to us, okay? No. No. Still speak your motherfucking mind, place your boundaries, okay? Stand up for yourself, do what needs to be done. But really the path of least resistance gives us that, I guess you could say, that perspective of the fact that we get to choose what we decide to invest our energy into. You know, is this person, is this circumstance worth me reacting over, worth me breaking my peace over? Should I choose to resist this situation? Because when we resist things, that's us making that decision, okay? That's our mind resisting. We can literally just let go and choose to drop it. That's a choice as well. And it's so much easier that way. It's so much more peaceful that way. So just drop the situation. If you think it's going to cause you more harm, then good, and just let it go. And just understand that that happened for a reason, and that it's going to work out regardless, just not in the way that you expected it to. When I let go, I'm not attached to the end result. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm not attached to the how or the why or the when. We get into this very welcoming energy, accepting energy, where we're kind of just welcoming life towards us rather than trying to fight it or run away from it, right? And when we get into that accepting energy, we're focused on the process. We're focused on life just unfolding naturally in front of us. We're still making moves forward. We're still planning for the future. We're still hustling. We're still working hard, setting goals, okay? We're still doing what we need to do, but we're not focused on step 4, 5, and 6. We're focused on 1, 2, and 3, because 4, 5, and 6 are out there. 1, 2, and 3 right here, right now. And that's what we should be focusing on. Swimming with the river, we're not fighting it, right? We're swimming with it. We're chilling, we're on a floaty, we're sipping some pineapple juice, we've got our shades on. Life is great. The thing that is really helpful that I try to use is something called conscious effort or conscious action. It might not work for everyone, depends how crazy active your brain is, but it does help, and I would suggest using it. What conscious action is you're just, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're experiencing, you're putting your full focus onto that thing, your full attention, your full energy, whatever it is that's in front of you, whether you're having a meal with a friend, whether you're at the gym, whether you're outside walking the dog, whatever it is that you're doing, try to stop your mind from drifting off and focus on whatever it is that's in front of you. This is a game I like to play when my mind goes wandering, when it wants to think about something that is just completely irrelevant to what's happening right now. I pay attention to all of my senses. What is it that I can see right now? I can see some birds flying through the sky. I can see, you know, there's a red car driving past there. I can see the leaves on the trees, right? I can hear people yelling. I can hear the cars rolling past. I can hear a dog barking. I can hear construction going on. I can feel the bed underneath my bum right now. I can feel my clothes, right? When we pay attention to these things, to our senses, it takes our mind away from everything. All the action that's going on up here makes us focus on basically what we're experiencing now. You know, maybe you're out for dinner with a friend, really be there with that friend, you know, taste the flavors of the meal, really engage in that conversation, listen to what she's telling you, look around at the restaurant, look at the other people just eating their meal, observe, listen to the sounds, look at the sights, you know, really put that focus on all your senses in that moment. Fortunately for a lot of people, the biggest divide that comes between themselves and really enjoying the present moment, being able to live through that moment, is the fact that they believe that all their happiness and fulfillment lies within some point in the future. But they only believe that, they only feel those things because they're dependent on external materialistic things to make them feel good, to validate them, to be their source of self-worth. I'm a prime example of this. There are many times I would just look at my life, look at the present moment, and just neglect it entirely because I didn't have all the things that I wanted yet. I didn't have, you know, the beautiful smile, the beautiful white pearly smile. I didn't have the boss career. You know, I didn't have the dream car I wanted. I wasn't living in the dream city that I wanted to be in, or the dream apartment, you know, and I still don't have all these things, by the way, but I'm just giving you an example. I would neglect the present moment because I didn't have these things, and I would think, once I get all these things, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel fulfilled, and I can start living my life, right? But right now I don't have these things, so what's the point? Until I get those things, I'm just going to keep fantasizing about a future point in time where I can obtain those things. As human beings, it's programmed into us that the more things we have, the better that we'll feel about ourselves, the better our quality of life will be. And sometimes that's true, you know, sometimes we get things, we achieve things, materialistic things that really do help our quality of life. I'm not going to lie. In some circumstances, money can buy happiness. I'm just gonna say that. But for the majority of things, that's just an exception on the odd occasion, okay? But for the majority of things, the happiness that we get from these external things, it's only momentarily, right? It doesn't last. We have that high once we get that thing that we wanted for so long, right? But then it's only a matter of time until we start dipping again. We start dipping, and then we think about the next thing that we want, right? The next thing that's gonna fill the void. And in order to get that next thing, we have to anticipate it, we have to plan, we have to work hard, right? These are all actions that are moving us towards the future. And so we think about the future, we get stuck in that place because we believe that once we get to that place, once we get to that point in the future, then we'll be happy, then we'll feel fulfilled, then we'll feel whole. Our future is really just a reflection of our past. The same thing as our external world being a reflection of our internal world. Because when you feel the same emotions, when you think the same thoughts, when you have the same beliefs, when you're leading with the same patterns and behaviors, your life is always going to look the same. You can fill your life up with as many sparkly, amazing, incredible things. You know, you can have the most amazing house, the fanciest sports car, you can have all the friends, you can have all these things. It's when you look within, it's when you start changing inside, that's when your external reality starts to change. That's when your future starts to change. The happiness you're seeking in a future point in time is actually something that you can access here in the now through the present moment, by looking within, by learning to heal yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, feel all those things. And when you start to feel whole, we start to detach from the need for materialistic external things, because the only reason why we wanted those things in the first place was to feel good about ourselves. Okay, that's a fact. I can tell you here right now, all the things I wanted in my life, I only wanted those things because I thought it would make me feel better about myself. I thought it would make me more skinnier, more pretty. I thought it'd make me more cool, or more successful, or more rich, or whatever. More, right? We think the more we have, the better we'll feel. But no. Every time I got something, it was only a matter of time until I was like, I'm still feeling like shit, let's get something else, right? That's because we're ignoring what's going on down here. We're suppressing these wounded parts of us. So until we can fix what's going on here, that's when your external world will change, okay? Trust me. Once we start to feel that love towards ourselves, that acceptance towards ourselves, we start feeling grateful. We're filled with this sense of gratitude, not only for ourselves, but for our lives. And when we're grateful for our life, this allows us to just slow down, to enjoy the process, to enjoy the journey, because we're not so much attached to needing things, right? When we don't need things, we're not attached to the outcome of getting these things. You feel me? It allows us to just enjoy the beautiful sights and sounds along the journey. Life is no longer this obsessive need to get to a final destination. We're just enjoying the rides. And this is something that I came to the realization of, right? Every time I neglected the present moment by wishing that I was at that point, that I was somewhere over there instead of here, I realized that every time I did that, I was really just ignoring all the other amazing, beautiful things that are present within my life. Let me tell you guys something. I have this dream of moving to Melbourne. I love Melbourne. It's the most amazing place. Every time I go there, it just lights me up inside. It's just, I know it's where I belong. I love it, it's incredible. And my plan was to move there this year actually, but it just didn't end up happening. Just wasn't the right timing for me, and that's something that I've accepted. It doesn't mean that I'm not moving over there. It's just not the right time. There are moments, you know, where I get up in my head and I start getting really sad that I'm still here and not there, right? And I start getting stuck in that lack perspective of things. I start labeling myself as a failure, as a loser, and that gets me stuck in this loop of focusing on all the negatives, all the things I haven't done, all the things that I haven't achieved. And when I'm doing that, this is blocking my perception and my feeling of gratitude for the things that I actually do have in life. I am so blessed, right? And I realize there are so many things here in my life in Perth that I have right now that are just not going to be the same when I make the move to Melbourne. I'm still going to have a lot of things that I have here in Perth, but it's just going to be different. My experiences are going to be different. The people that I'm surrounded by are going to be different. I'm living with my amazing family who I love so much in a beautiful, beautiful house, right? I have my amazing nan who just lives a few suburbs away, you know, and she has a beautiful fireplace that we sit by and have her home cooked meals. You know, I have 2 beautiful cats. I have amazing friends here that I share so many amazing memories with, so many incredible experiences with, you know. These are all things that I'm not going to get to enjoy once I move to Melbourne, you know. And I realized that if I don't start focusing on these things more and appreciating these moments, what I do have, then there's gonna be a point in time where I look back on these moments and I'm filled with regret that I didn't focus on all the beautiful things I have, right? We don't know what we've got until it's gone. I don't want to be 70 years old and feeling this deep sense of regret for not enjoying my life more, for not really truly living through each moment and really appreciating everything that I had. You know, I want to make the most of every single moment I have in my life. That is a promise that I make to myself. No matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm experiencing, I'm trying my absolute hardest to appreciate it, because it's happening to me for a reason. I'm experiencing this moment in my life, this chapter in my life for a reason. It's all taking me somewhere. And I think that that is something that is so helpful when it comes to remaining grounded in the present moment. It's something that I remind myself of all the time. When I start wishing that I was somewhere else but here, I remind myself, but wait, no, where you are right now, Sanam, is exactly where you're supposed to be. I'm such a violent believer in that. I'm such a violent believer that everyone has their own unique life path or unique life journey. And if we're aware enough of that, if we're able to tap into that enough, then we can trust in it to take us exactly where we want to go, exactly where we need to go. Once you start feeling that feeling of enlightenment, once you start to practice becoming more present within your everyday life, you start to feel that presence within yourself, feel that stillness. You know, you're connected to your feeling state a lot more. You're in that very feminine energy, and once you're in that energetic place, this strengthens your connection to, I'm going to say, the universe or to source or to God, whatever you want to believe in, you know. It strengthens your connection to that place. When you have that connection to that place, something really magical happens. You feel the full support of the universe behind you. And that is the most grounding feeling for me. That is something that, out of everything, probably helps me stay present the most, because when I have that connection to myself, that connection to the universe, then it fills me with this sense of reassurance, you know, because I'm tapped into that feeling of inner knowing, of inner trust, that I'm being guided towards exactly where I want to go, that I'm exactly where I need to be. That feeling, that reassurance is what really helps me just let go and just remain in the process, remain in the moment. We're making decisions based off our feeling state and our intuition. Whatever direction feels right to take in the moment, we're just going with the flow and we're taking it, and we're trusting in the fact that that intuition is leading us down the path that we're meant to go to. okay? Because our intuition is really just an extension of our higher self, and our higher self is the version of us that is the most connected to the universe or to source. And that version of us pretty much is like the future version of us, all right? They know exactly what's going to happen, what's going to pan out for us. And so when we get a strong pull towards something, a strong feeling, a strong desire to do something or be somewhere, that is our higher self, our intuition signaling that to us through that gut feeling, being like, you know, this is the right way, go this way. This is gonna take you towards where you're meant to go. The more in tune I am with my intuition, the easier it is for me to just let go and trust the process, because I know that my intuition is going to take me exactly where I need to go, which helps me just detach from everything pretty much. All my dreams, all my goals, all the places I want to go to, all the people that I want to meet, whatever it is, whatever I want in life, I know that I'm going to have it. I just have to trust that it's going to happen in divine timing. And I believe that in order to get to a certain place in my life, to reach a certain point or a goal, there are certain things that I have to go through. And I believe that this is the same for everyone. I believe that everyone has to go through certain things in order to get themselves to a certain place. It just makes so much sense to me. And it's just what I've experienced throughout my life. And I look back on certain points, I realized like, wow, I wouldn't have been able to actually get to that point or get to that goal if this previous thing hadn't have happened to me, right? It's kind of like connect the dots. For example, would you expect a child that was in kindergarten to do homework that was set for a teenager in high school? No, obviously not. They're not ready for that. When you're reading a book, right, would you read chapter 1 and then just skip to chapter 24? I mean, yeah, you could physically, right? But it wouldn't make much sense. You'd be really confused and wouldn't have any idea what's going on. And that's how you want to look at your life, right? View each moment in your life, each phase in your life as a chapter. Everything you're going through is represented by a chapter in your book. Your book is your life. Each chapter is as equally as important as the past one or the next one. And it's so important that you get through that entire chapter, because by getting through that chapter, that is giving you the strength, the knowledge, the wisdom, the know-how, the capability. It's giving you all these things that you need that help you get to the next point. Without the increase in those things, then it just wouldn't work out. It's this present moment right now that is giving us all these things. It's this present moment that allows us to learn, that allows us to grow, that allows us to become who we are. It's this present moment that is shaping us into who we are, who we're meant to become. Okay guys, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I know that was a very existential and whimsical journey of my thoughts and my perspective of the world, but hey, if whimsical and existential had a photo next to it in the dictionary, then my face would be there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very spiritual person. I've had a lot of profound spiritual experiences in my life, and it only feels right for me to just get up on here and speak my truth. I've always felt a little bit insecure of speaking my mind about certain things, because I know that a lot of people just don't understand, and that's totally okay. You know, everyone is on their own journey, and a lot of people just aren't on the spiritual one, and that's totally fine, you know. But in the past, you know, I've always felt very insecure of expressing these things because people have looked at me like I'm crazy or that they don't understand me. But you know what? That is their problem, and that is what I want to tell you as well. Whoever's watching, if you have an opinion about something that you want to express, that you believe in, even if it's not, I guess you could say, a mainstream belief or something that someone would typically agree on you with, then just speak your mind, girl. Speak it loud and proud. It's so important that we come up on here onto this earth and just speak our truth. You know, that is really what I feel like I was put on here to do, is to just speak my mind, speak my truth, and to connect with people that also share that same truth, you know. I hope this touched your soul. I hope it helped you in some way. I hope it helped you bring some kind of peace of mind. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe away, girl. You know you want to. Come on, it's a good time. All right, I love you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye.